another episode of Stream of Thoughts. We're recording this episode after a long time, but we are back with a very interesting and very trendy topic. The topic of today's episode is artificial intelligence. We use artificial intelligence a lot these days in our daily lives. For example, in our mobile phone applications or web-based applications. There are some good sides of it as well, but there are some negative sides of it as well. For example, there are concerns that AI might take our jobs in future, or AI might be leaking our data or something like that. But to address these concerns and to know the positive sides of AI, we have invited an AI expert today. So let's welcome our respected guest, Mr. Linus. Welcome to our podcast, and we're happy to have you here. How are you? Artificial intelligence, everyone I guess knows about it, but we would like to start with your introduction and how are you an AI expert or something about your background?
Yeah, so quick summary. I have basic education on AI stuff, like general education on neural networks, time series analysis, and so on from university studies. And after those studies, I was hired as a data scientist for industry, and I have done industry level data science for many years, using a lot of machine learning AI tools and neural networks.
Okay, nice. So let's start with AI. Like, in past few years, the internet or mobile phones, every application that we are using, they are bombarded with AI, artificial intelligence. AI can write for you, I can edit for you, I can make photos for you. But what this AI actually is, where did this come from, and why it didn't exist like 3 to 4 years ago? Please tell us something about the history of AI.
Yeah, so AI, as like the EU term, means anything that does stuff without human input. So it can make its own decisions. But in these current years, for the past few years, AI has meant more and more about neural networks and deep learning. And why it's just now that we get deep learning is because of computational power. We have very powerful graphics drives, which are extremely good at computing through neural networks. And then we have the technology. We have the understanding of what it takes to create a neural network from the coding perspective.
So is it true that what I've heard somewhere that artificial intelligence or the technology, the existing technology that humans have is much more advanced than what they release in the market? For example, the mobile phones, we see an upgraded version of mobile phones every year. They say that they release it step by step because humans are not yet smart enough or not ready to digest those technology that humans already have, but it's in secret somewhere, it's confidential. So is it true that the AI was created many years back or decades back, but it was just released when they thought that market is ready?
I don't personally believe in that. It is true that like neural networks and large language models, they have existed for almost decades. But the problem is that the computational cost of training those models has been so high that only universities and rich companies had the money and the equipment to use those tools. So nowadays it's more and more accessible.
So when talking about the artificial intelligence, it is said that the artificial intelligence is advancing day by day, especially for example, writing data analysis. You want to do something, you just say that I want to write this, I want to do this methodology, and for example ChatGPT or Gemini or any other sources, they will give you the whole script of Python, MATLAB or any other languages. So Do you think that AI has these skills? And I read in a news that the for example, passing a test for getting into medical studies, AI was much more smarter than the rest of the medical students that were taking the exam. So, is there a chance that AI will take our jobs in future?
Yeah, there are two questions. The first question is AI truly, do these large language models, do they actually understand what they are outputting to the user? And no one really knows. There are some quite interesting papers on how it's not yet achieved any sort of intelligence, and it's more closely related to the famous Chinese room experiment, where the language model does not know what it's inputted into it, the user input. It doesn't really understand what it is, but it knows what to do with it and what the user expects from it. And for if AI will take our jobs, no, I don't think so. I think it's the other workers and other professionals who know how to use AI that will have a greater marketing advantage than those who do not know how to use AI tools.
But for example, I am I do data analysis in my work. If I need some help, I can get the code from ChatGPT or Gemini. Instead of searching it at different forums, I can just ChatGPT can create a code for me. So if I see in the future, if the people can get an automated version of the codes that AI can apply and do the data analysis, and human input would not be required, I would assume that my job would be in danger. So, do you think, for example, data analysis, I think you're a machine learning expert, you also deal with data analysis. What do you think, would AI be, for example, taking data analysis jobs? To what extent? And when you said that the person who have knowledge of AI will have a greater hand over it, what kind of knowledge you meant?
Knowledge of the tools and their capabilities and how to best use them.
Okay.
Because AI, personally, I believe AI is best as a tool and has been so.
Okay. But about these websites that we use, like ChatGPT, Gemini, and also I think there has been recently launched like Workbook ML by Google. What do you say about these sites? The use of these have been increasing in our daily lives. Like if you're writing something, if you're making YouTube video, if you're going out, make a plan for me. So the use of this, for example, if I'm traveling, I say ChatGPT, okay, make a 5 days excursion plan for me. They make a plan for you. Should we keep on using it in our daily lives?
That's a great question, and I believe the answer is that every tool has its correct uses and incorrect use cases. And I believe for these large language models you mentioned, they are best for making the first step or the initial step in the problem-solving process. And the problem-solving can be like, what should I do on my vacation? And I believe the language models are excellent at giving you the first push as to what things you could do. And then, as a human, you can then enrich that initial idea by actually searching for stuff and applying your own interests.
Okay. So we can say that if we can take help from AI, but we have to use our own instincts as well to polish that plan, or to polish that travel plan, or whatever way we are using ChatGPT. But human input is needed for decisions from ChatGPT, right?
Yes.
Coming to the AI decision making part, So many of the agencies, many of the big organizations, they are using, for example, selecting applicants for a position. They are using automated AI decision systems for selecting applicants, for example, for a job. So but human input is needed, as we discussed. So do you think that the AI decision making is ethical, and is it advanced enough that a human or a big company can trust on the decisions made by AI?
Yeah, it's an excellent question, and it's problematic, and on some aspects, the EU AI Act has greater than zero risk assessment for those type of automated hiring systems, because they handle with personal information, and they can be used or intentionally or without intention to, for example, discriminate or otherwise favor some groups over others, which is one of the unethical problems that can happen.
Okay. And also in AI decision making, for example, robotic cars. I'm not sure, but please, if you can highlight if I'm going wrong, that these automated cars that we, for example, see in Tokyo as well, there's one near university. But these automated cars and being launched by big companies as well, and driverless cabs as well. I have seen some videos. But for example, if those get into some sort of accident, who is responsible for that? Is there any existing law about it, or is there not?
It's a really cool question. I don't know if there is. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of law behind that, but we have yet to, or at least in my knowledge, there hasn't been these accidents, at least in the EU yet. I know that in the USA there has been some sort of accidents involving the Tesla cars, and I believe at least one of those law cases ended up with the conclusion that as long as the human passengers do not try to interrupt the decision making of the car, any accidents will be the responsibility of the car manufacturer.
Okay. Car manufacturer. And as we discussed that this decision taking by AI is automatic, but for the decision taking, the programming that is being done for AI to take the decision based on certain formats, that is done by a person. So if you found that there is some major concerning decisions taken by AI that could harm other lives, would be the person who did the AI, who did the coding for that, would be responsible, or the company would be responsible? Is there any existing law, something related to that?
I don't know if there is any specific law, at least in our legislation, but it does fall in the EU's AI Act, which has risk assessment for self-driving vehicles. Okay. So I believe as a part of that risk assessment there needs to be some sort of paperwork that clearly explains who is responsible for what and when.
That is very interesting, and I think there should be more open this, because as a layman I don't know about any laws that exist there, because if I suffer from any of those, if I sit in a driverless cab and I get into an accident, I don't know where to approach, what to do. I think there is a need that this information should be made more public. Public should have easy to access information about what are the negative aspects of AI, and how to what is the law saying of their country, or what is the international law saying. Talking about this, because we as like we are using very easily, because the AI apps or AI based web applications, they're just a click away. They help us in our daily lives. We can make travel plans and we can do everything using those applications. But those AI based apps can also sometimes results in, for example, if you say edit my photo, remove a person from the background of my photo, you may end up getting in some deep fake video or image that was not yours, that has been used in a negative way. So about the negative sides of AI, how should a person protect themselves from these deep fake videos, images, sort of things?
There really isn't any easy solution as far as I know. The best solution is to not share any type of personal information that can be used against oneself. But I think one easy tactic, or I'm not any professional in saying this, but at least I think one way to tackle these sort of problems is that if you find yourself as a victim of deepfake, is to counter the fiction with facts. Maybe write a post about you being victim of this sort of thing. And I believe in most legislations you can actually go to the police and tell them about what has happened, and then it will progress from that.
But the only way is just to be very careful, because when you leave something when you're on internet or you're online or on air, you're leaving a footprint, so just try to be careful. I think that's what we can say. And about trying to be careful, these applications, we can try to be careful from negative sides of it. But is there a possibility that these applications can take over the world? Like the term we use, AI apocalypse, or in the sci-fi movies, is there a possibility that AI can kill humans and make world their own place to live?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
AI has the tools for apocalypse only if you give it the tools. AI is still restricted in the digital world, so it can only access what we humans decide to give it access to. So if we find ourselves with AI system that can launch missiles, then it's our fault. We gave it that option to launch missiles.
But if we have made an AI for our ease, we think that it's best for us. We're making this AI for safeguarding us, to just as a the mechanism. If there's something happens, then press this. You know how you write the code, if and when, and those sort of conditions. But if some bugs come in and bugs changes the code, and AI that is operating the missiles that gets because of the bug that it's okay to launch the missile, then I mean there would be destruction. There would be a possibility like that, right?
Yes, but again, then you have given AI the option to cause that sort of destruction, because especially with systems which are decision-making systems, but which handle huge amounts of power and can lead to catastrophic things, especially those usually have safeguards, and if they don't, they should have. And this is again one of those EU AI Act risk assessments. What are the fail-safes? How are they handled with? If there are any, there should be always some fail-safes that make sure that whatever evaluation comes out of the system, whatever it is, then there are some sort of basic level checks to test if the conclusion is correct or not.
this you have mentioned this EU AI Act. Uh, I didn't know about it, but this is a very good information that you shared. So I think I'm gonna give it a read, and I'll also put in the comments below about the link. So if others who are listening, they can also read what what EU say about this AI. Uh, but and so AI in research, research. I'm a researcher as well, and I guess some of the people listening, this might be my colleagues or my who are doing research. So the use of AI in research has been increasing. People use, as I mentioned, that people use it for writing. People use it for maybe doing some data analysis or these sort of things. What does ethics say about the use of AI in research or in these activities in writing or in data analysis? And is there any AI ethics being built other than the EU AI Act?
Again, a good question, and I believe the answer is that there are no universal guidelines. It's only the universities themselves and other academic facilities are making their own rules and guidelines to follow. And it really depends on the use case of what guidelines do they want to enforce.
Okay, but like us, I am a fan of AI and machine learning as well. But my background is more from the health and biology side. But since I do data analysis as well. But people like me who are a fan of AI or machine learning, and they want to learn something related to machine learning, what should be the point, where should they start, and how is machine learning or AI as a career? Because many of the people who are listening, they use chat GPT or these sort of things, and it's AI based, and AI is very trendy and very in fashion kind of thing. So many of the teenagers who are thinking to develop their career, they might be thinking of AI as a career. So what do you say about that? How to learn it from scratch and how it is as a career?
I would say it depends on what level you want to understand AI and machine learning in general. If you want to dive in the deep end, then unfortunately it will be mathematics and statistics, matrix calculations and linear algebra. But for general uses, I think it's best to try and understand the different tools that are available, the spectrum of AI, because many people when discussing about AI, it's like ChatGPT, Gemini, DALL-E, but those are only like few. There are thousands of these tools that each of them have their different purposes, what they do, what they're good at, what they're bad at, and the different technological levels. Yeah, I would say that the number one thing is understand the whole market, like what tools are out there and what is the purpose of each of these tools, what they're good at.
Okay. And one more question related to this, that these AI apps, like we said, some AI, Gemini, ChatGPT, and some others, but we are discussing there are thousands of those. Some have free variant, some have paid variant. But when most of us maybe are using the free variants, but when we are using free variants and we are getting bulk of information from even the free variants of them. So when we are giving them something and we are getting back a lot of information, but they are not earning from us, what is their benefit in giving AI, free AI information? What is the benefit of those companies? What we are losing or what we are giving them that we don't know?
In my understanding, a lot of these free, especially large language models, these chatbots, we are giving away our information. So the inputs we give and how we interact with the AI, that's what they are gathering, and they are using that to make it better. So it can have better conversations and avoid mistakes.
And also this data leakage. Like I have seen lots of people putting disclaimers on Facebook that someone have made a fake account of theirs, and is this something related to AI using, for example, some websites that you just Google that to edit photos, for example, you do something and your data get leaked, and then you get a Facebook profile, clone Facebook profile or something like that. So I mean, using how to use the websites, trustable websites, for how to find the websites that are trustable, free AI and trustable websites. How to know that it is trustable?
That's really difficult. But as a general good practice, in my opinion, is whatever you give as input to these AI tools, always anonymize them. Do not share your personal information, do not share company names, do not share even city names. It's keep everything as generic as possible. And I've noticed that with ChatGPT it works just fine. If you, for example, want to refine your CV, you can just replace the company name with A, B, and C, and it works just fine. It doesn't care that you just threw away the real name and just gave it some placeholder. It doesn't mind that. And by using that, you can be on that aspect, be sure that you are not leaving any information that you don't want to be leaked.
Okay. So overall, we can say that AI is safe to use, but you need to be careful as well regarding your digital footprint and use of the fishy websites on the internet. So one thing I was reading on LinkedIn the other day, I searched, there was a screenshot that person shared, and he wrote that these AI tools, if you put some information, for example, if you're saying that I want to know something about Kyopio, so it will give you something, you will take it, you will put some information of yours which is wrong. For example, if you say that Kyopio is a city with C, you will put it, AI will store that information, and if some other person at some other place would search what kind of city Kyopio is, so they will use the information that other person provided, which was wrong, and they will give him the wrong information that Kyopio has a sea with a beach. So the information provided by like millions of users are using it. The information provided to AI will start fading away the true information, and after a few years there will come a point when the AI will not be able to give the true information. Is that true?
Depends on the model, but yeah, it can be true, and it's called data poisoning. And it totally depends on the model that is used and how it's trained. So one really major thing in training any sort of machine learning tool is to pre-process, filter and sanitize and do a bunch of things with the raw data before you are teaching it. Because if you do not sanitize your data, you do not double, triple check that everything is correct, and then you keep training the model, of course it will learn these fake bits of information and falsehoods.
So, but these, for example, ChatGPT or Gemini that we currently use, are they being updated with the updated information? Is the data cleaned? Are they protected from data poisoning?
I don't know. I hope they are.
Because they're a big company and everyone is using it. So, because in order to give information to the users, right information there should be, I guess. But Yeah, anything else you want to say about AI to our listeners? Anything cool, anything bad? Please
Cool.
feel free.
Interesting. I think maybe the best thing is that to try and be curious, as in even though one might think, oh, I'm not good at these AI things, they are too weird, but it's not weird, and they're really cool, and it's just be curious, read about them, search about them, try them out, and like always be skeptical. If there is some tool that claims that it will like completely take away your job, you don't need your job anymore after this tool, then I do not believe that. There is something that it doesn't mention, that it's incapable of doing. But being curious and seeing what you can find and testing out different tools.
Amazing. I think very nice message. And as we discussed that AI cannot completely take your jobs, you just have to stay updated with the AI tools in your respective field that might able to help you to do the task more seamlessly, more smoothly. And as Jonas said, that stay curious, try to explore it, try to learn up-to-date tools that AI is bringing to you, and your job won't go away. But we would like to thank Mr. Yunus again for coming to our podcast, and it was such a nice and very informative discussion for me at least, and hopefully for my listeners as well. And thank you very much for listening, and please subscribe. And if you have any comments or any questions that you would like me to ask from Mr. Yunus, please put in the comment section. And if you have any more questions, and if this topic needs another podcast, we will again try to request Mr. Yunus to share some more insights about AI with us. Thank you, and subscribe, and see you some other time. Bye bye.